Something has to give with Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers. This has to be the year that the 76ers get back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2000. And the reason why I say this, when I look at this roster on paper, you have Joel Embiid, one of the best players in all of the NBA when he's fully healthy. You have Paul George, VJ Eshkom, you have Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Quinn Grimes, who is still a free agent right now, but they could bring him back depending on a qualifying offer. And I do believe that he will be back with the 76ers. We're going to dig deep into this roster. But the reason why I say the 76ers are going to be a contender for this upcoming year in the Eastern Conference, for one, the Eastern Conference is wide open. Besides the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks and possibly the Milwaukee Bucks, there's a lot of question marks in this conference. And the Atlanta Hawks, they made a lot of moves this offseason as well. But you look at the Pacers, they were just in the NBA Finals. No more Miles Turner. He's now with the Milwaukee Bucks. Tyrese Halliburton's going to miss all of next year dealing with a torn Achilles injury. The Boston Celtics, they're not the same team. Jason Tatum is going to miss a lot of time next year, torn Achilles injury. They no longer have Kristaps Porzingis. They no longer have Drew Holiday. They traded both of those players to get underneath the second apron. Now, they're still going to be a competitive team in the Eastern Conference, but I don't see them being a top 3 seed. And the same with the Pacers for this upcoming year. I could be wrong. But it opens up that door right now for the 76ers. And this has been the case over the last 5 to 6 years with Philadelphia. Even more than that in some cases with Joel Embiid. And a lot of it is bad luck. Before we get into the current roster that they have right now, they've had good teams and good players around Joel Embiid. It just hasn't worked out. Ben Simmons early on, say what you want to say about the man now. He was a disappointment on his way out of Philadelphia. But for those first couple of years, one of the best defenders in the NBA. Very good point guard. He just did not want to shoot. He just would not shoot the 3 ball from the corner, and that hurt their offense a lot. And he was dealing with injuries. They traded him to the Brooklyn Nets. Bring in James Harden. That didn't work out. James Harden and Joel Embiid, a fun pairing in the regular season and the postseason. It wasn't the same. Either Joel Embiid was dealing with injuries or James Harden wasn't the same player that he was in the regular season. And that's been the telltale story of his career so far. James Harden, amazing regular season player, MVP in the regular season. Postseason, he slows down, especially in Game 7. That didn't work out. Even before they went out there and they brought in James Harden, you had Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons. That was a very good roster. They ran to the Toronto Raptors. Kawhi Leonard hit that shot at the corner. It rolls around. It falls in. Bad luck once again. And they picked Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. That didn't work out for him. But that was still a very good basketball team. Let's not forget Markelle Fultz. Remember the trust the process era when this organization was just tanking over and over again to get players like Markelle Fultz. The same with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. That big 3 didn't work out because Markelle Fultz had a shoulder injury. He forgot how to shoot. He never panned out in the NBA. They shipped him off. He wasn't the same player that he was in college. A lot of it is due to injuries. So a lot of this is not on Joel Embiid. The front office has let him down in certain situations, but they've also brought in some nice talent to help him out. It just comes down to bad luck. A lot of this still does fall on Joel Embiid. And I look at this previous season, for example. He only played 19 games, and he did not look fully healthy when he played in those 19 games. He looked slow. He could not bring the basketball up the court. He was dealing with that knee injury. Instead of going out there and rehabbing and having surgery in the offseason, he went and he played in the Olympics for Team USA. If I was the 76ers, I would have came out and said, there's no way in hell that you're going to play for Team USA. You're dealing with this knee injury. You're not 100%. We're paying you to win a championship, not to win a gold medal with Team USA. And shout out to Team USA for taking care of business over a year ago in the Summer Olympics. But that should have not been Joel Embiid's biggest priority at that time. This is also an organization that was so desperate to bring in another star that they signed Paul George to a crazy contract. Paul George signed a 4-year deal, $212 million, and they're expecting for him to come in and be a number 2 to a number 3 option alongside Joel Embiid. It was a season from hell. As soon as they realized that Joel Embiid was not fully healthy, they set him down for the rest of the year. They said, go get your knee looked at, go have surgery. We'll see you next year. But you bring in Paul George, they were still a team that many people thought could make the NBA playoffs at least, or even be in the play-in tournament. That wasn't the case. Paul George was also dealing with injuries. And he's getting older. Even before he was injured, he didn't look the same. When you look at Paul George with the Los Angeles Clippers, his last season, he averaged 22 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He comes over to Philly in 41 games, 16 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He was not able to get to his spots the same way that he was with the Clippers. He shot 36% from 3. That's a down year for PG. And you hope that this is not who PG is, because now he is 35 years old. He doesn't have the same athleticism that he once had with the Indiana Pacers because of the injury that he suffered. And he had that one great season with OKC. He had a lot of up and down moments with the Clippers, but they signed this man to be a number 2 option alongside Joel Embiid to be that 3-and-D player. The defense was not the same, and the three-point shot wasn't the same. Paul George got roasted a lot last season because he'll go out there and he'll drop more podcast episodes than the 76ers had wins at that time. They were 2-11, and they held a players-only meeting. Tyrese Maxey seemed like he was a team leader. In that meeting, a report came out that he called out Joel Embiid for his conditioning and for his leadership. And Joel Embiid was pissed off with a reporter, and he was saying, who is the snitch? Who told you this information? So some of it had to be true. Joel Embiid needs to grow up, and Paul George needs to be better. The talent is there with both of those players. And I don't view Paul George as his top NBA player anymore. I just don't. Even with the Clippers, he was never able to put the team fully on his back because of the injuries with Kawhi Leonard. He's just not that player anymore. I look at him as a number 3 option. The 76ers signed him to be a number 2 option alongside Joel Embiid. I look at Tyrese Maxey as a second best player with the 76ers when Embiid is fully healthy. We all know what Joel Embiid can do on his best day. He can give you 30 points and 15 rebounds on great efficiency. And he can bring the basketball to the court. He's a freakish athlete. He just has to stay healthy. His body just betrays him every single year, it seems like. And I do believe the 76ers should look into doing this. You play Joel Embiid one night, the next night you don't play him. They've done this before in the past. Continue to do that. And you let these young players around him grow and develop. All you need to do is go out there and get a ticket into the NBA playoffs, and then you play Joel Embiid in the postseason, and you hope that he can stay fully healthy. But that's the biggest question mark right now with the 76ers. But that Paul George contract, I'm going to say it right now for what it is. I don't hate Paul George. He seems like a great human being. This is a terrible contract. 4 years to $212 million. Now he only has 3 years left on this deal. This was a team that got desperate and they wanted to bring in the best free agent available, and that's what they did last offseason. Now look at Tyrese Maxey. He was having a very good season. He ran into injuries as well, but he can average 27 points a game. Just average 26 points a game this last season, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 33% from the field. He's a very good basketball player, and you can build a system around Tyrese Maxey while Joel Embiid is out dealing with his injuries, and if he just needs a rest or two. Due to the simple fact that you have him in the backcourt, he's playing alongside Jared McCain. Now, Jared McCain had a very good rookie season until he went down with a knee injury. Shot 38% from the 3, 15 points a game. And I will say this, he only played in 23 games last season. We have to bring that up. Maybe the 3-point percentage would have went down to 35%, but he still was shooting very effectively from the field, getting to his spots, just finding a way to get to the rim over and over again. And a lot of these guards, they're going to have a lot of one-on-one opportunities because of Joel Embiid, because of what he's able to do inside the paint. And he's able to screen at the top of the key. You can run a very good free-flowing offense with Nick Nurse, who is a very good head coach, in my opinion. Look at what he did with the Toronto Raptors when they won that championship against the Golden State Warriors. So you have Tyrese Maxey, you have Jared McCain. That's the future of this team. And you have VJ Eshcom, who you drafted in the first round this year. And the Philadelphia 76ers, they got blessed by the NBA lottery. This is a very good basketball player. Many people compare him to Dwayne Wade, to Anthony Edwards. I won't go that far. But he has a very good mid-range shot. He can get to the rack over and over again. He's a monster on the offensive end in terms of slashing. The three-point shot needs to be better coming out of college, but we know this with young players. It takes time to develop that three-point shot. So early on in his rookie season, he may not shoot that best from 3. But on the back half of the rookie season, he may shoot better from 3, or it may happen in year 2. But as an offensive player that can get to the rim on a consistent basis, that can shoot the mid-range shot, and that can play tremendous defense, he will do that for you. The talent is there with Philadelphia. They just have to stay healthy and stay out of their own way. That's it. And if you're saying that the 76ers will never get to the Eastern Conference Finals with Joel Embiid, I won't argue with you. Because once again, I listed names like Ben Simmons, who was an all-NBA defender early on in his career. James Harden, Jimmy Butler, they had all those players walk in and out the door, and yet they could not make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. But at that point in time, the East was deeper than it is right now because of the injuries to star players like Tyrese Halliburton and the same with Jason Tatum. But something has to give here. And this is the second half of this video. If they can't get to the Eastern Conference Finals because of the injuries with Joel Embiid for yet another year, or let's just say Joel Embiid isn't the same player coming off this knee injury, you may be able to find a way to trade him and even possibly Paul George and just rebuild this entire thing. And I know you may be rolling your eyes right now. They have a youth movement in the backcourt with Jared McCain, with Tyrese Maxey, and the same with VJ Edgecombe. Those are three very good young players that you can build your team around. So you can move off these veterans and just go into a different direction. I don't know what that's going to say about Daryl Morey moving forward, the general manager, who's done a very good job, in my opinion, in terms of putting the best players around Joel Embiid as much as possible. And I also look at it from this standpoint with Joel Embiid. It's not a good look. You went from having Brett Brown as the head coach. He wasn't the best, but he did the best that he could. They moved off of him. They brought in Doc Rivers. I hated that signing for the simple fact that Doc Rivers in the regular season, very good coach. In the postseason, he always gets exposed. He has the one championship with the Boston Celtics. That's it with that big three that they had. With the Orlando Magic, he blew a 3-1 lead. The same with the Clippers and the same with the 76ers. And this man came out and he basically threw Ben Simmons underneath the bus. And I know Ben Simmons gets a lot of hate from Philly. He did not want to shoot the three ball. He didn't care about his offensive game. I fully understand that. He deserves the hate. Ben Simmons just didn't want to work hard. That's why he's in the spot that he's in right now. Coming out of LSU, he was scheduled to be an all-time great on the defensive end and the same on the offensive end. He just stood in his own way because of his attitude. But let's not forget the dumb substitutions and the lack of game planning with Doc Rivers. That's your second head coach, your Joel Embiid. And now they bring in a man that's won a championship just like Doc Rivers and Nick Nurse. So if you can't get it done with these talented players year in and year out, at the end of the day, it's going to fall on you because you are the face of the franchise. And he has to stay healthy. That's the one thing with Joel. And I never expect for him to play over 75 games in the season. It's not going to happen. But can you play 55 games in the regular season to get the 76ers to a top 5 seed? Can you be durable long enough in the postseason to at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals? They should be able to in the East right now. But if it doesn't work out for this upcoming year, I'll move off of PG. It's going to be tough to do so. But we've seen teams go out there and buy players out. Look at what the Memphis Grizzlies just did with Cole Anthony. They bought him out. Look at what the Portland Trail Blazers just did with DeAndre Ayton. They bought him out. So if this doesn't work out with PG, let's not forget that's an option here. They may just buy him out for the rest of his contract. If this upcoming season doesn't work out, they move off of him. They move off of Joel Embiid and they go into a youth movement. And one more thing about the 76ers roster. Even though I like the players that they have to bring in a true power forward. I don't want to see Paul George play the power forward position. They don't have another big man that can give them consistent minutes right now at that position alongside Joel Embiid. That's the biggest weakness right now with the 76ers besides the durability with this roster. They are a small basketball team outside of Joel Embiid. Usually Paul George would be a shooting guard / small forward. This man's a power forward right now. And they have VJ Edgecombe, who I do expect for him to come off the bench. If they bring back Quentin Grimes, that's another guard. Those are 4 guards on your team. Those are a lot of guards to have around Joel Embiid. And once again, if he goes down, you're going to play Andre Drummond? You're going to give Kyle Lowry big-time minutes? I don't see that happening. So the 76ers, they still have a lot of questions to go out there and fix their roster and bring in some key players to help out Joel Embiid if he does go down in terms of their front court. But I like the talent that they have to go out there and possibly make a run for this upcoming year just with the injuries alone in the Eastern Conference. I have them in the mix in terms of being a top 5 seed in the East if they can stay healthy. And I know I've said that a lot in this video, but that's what it comes down to. And the same with the Orlando Magic. I have them being a better team than the Raptors. The same with the Miami Heat. The same with the Brooklyn Nets, the Hornets, and the Wizards. I know that's not saying much, but I have them better than those teams. And I expect for them to be better than the Pacers as well. and the Chicago Bulls. They're in a standstill right now. If they can't be a top 5 seed, at least be a play-in team at the worst. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the 76ers, and can they actually contend for this upcoming season with Joel Embiid? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.